What's up, guys? Welcome to the 49ers versus Colts Postgame show. Today I'm joined by my co-host, Kobe Ransom. How you doing tonight, Kobe?
Um, Better than the 49ers, I guess. That was just to put it brief and blunt and short. Right now, the 49ers are not a good football team. And we saw that tonight in full display in the rain, ugly game. The 49ers are not a good football team right now. And it's ugly. It's very, very ugly.
Yeah, cannot agree more. Well, let's jump right into it. What was your thoughts on the game? And what was your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo's performance tonight?
Well, when the game first started, my thoughts were okay, it's a rainy game, it's a sloppy game. Won't be a whole lot to take from this. But then execution, coaching, all that good stuff. Just periods throughout the game. Niners were getting booed in this game in their own stadium. They were getting booed off the field like 2 or 3 times in this game. Like even the fans at this point, like in the stadium, not even like on social media. These are like in the stadium. They're fed up with this team because you've got Kyle trying to challenge plays that don't make any sense. Like literally, guy fumbled, he recovers it. It's still a first down. What exactly are you trying to challenge? I don't know what his thought process were there, and that let me know that this coaching staff, this team, like they have no idea what's going on with this team. Like they all seem confused. There's no direction. There's no plan. And the execution. How many times on 3rd and long did the coach just throw it up, and DBs were grabbing, holding, couldn't turn around and locate the ball? You've had so many penalties in this game. On offense, 2 drives. That's all the Niners had that they actually moved the ball in this game. 2 drives. That was it. And on the 2 drives, they did bootlegs, play action, that kind of stuff. They did that only 2 times throughout the game. And they scored on both drives, and they didn't. They went away from it. I don't know why. I don't know what the game planning, the adjustments. I don't know where that stuff is and what the the plan is during the game, but it's not there. It's missing. Not to mention that obviously Trey Lance is hurt, so you had to play Jimmy regardless. But Jimmy Garoppolo is the exact same dude, if not worse. If not worse. He does not give this team the best chance to win any longer. He does not. He does not. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about the rain. I don't want to hear about not having Trent Williams. I don't want to hear any of that because he wasn't good today, and he hasn't been good for the majority of the season. And he wasn't good last year. This is a trend. This is not just a one-off. This is a trend. This is every game now. Like, it's what he is. Why are we not playing Lance at this point? You brought him back here and started him because you said this team was a Super Bowl team, and they are not. This might even be a playoff team. This team might be lucky to win 6 or 7 games right now. Like, what is going on? I have no idea what is going on. I said, this morning at work, I was like, I have no idea what to expect from this team today. And what we saw was absolute garbage. Hot garbage. And I've got like a million thoughts in my head, and I have no idea where to even direct myself because it's just so much, so many questions I have, and so many things have been handled so poorly. And this team is poorly coached. Shanahan's probably not going anywhere, but to say he's doing a good job this year would be lying to yourself. Kyle Shanahan this is his worst coach season by far. And the only good thing about it is that he has acknowledged it, he is aware of it, and he is, he said in the press conference, this falls on me. We lost 4 straight. We got to figure some things out. I can't get into a rhythm on, calling plays. At least he's aware, and he's being accountable. But at the same time, he's not doing a good job. Like I said, that challenge, what could you have possibly been challenging there?
Yeah, don't even get me
You
started
wasted a timeout for what? For what?
And like I understand if like the Colts already recovered that, so like why would you throw the challenge flag? Like they
They're
already got the
past the
first
marker. You
down.
can see that. They're
They
past the
already
marker
got the first
already.
down, and the Colts recovered the fumble. There was nothing to challenge there. Nothing, Kyle. It was just a waste of a timeout.
And then you're running the ball on every third and long possible that you get. You were 1-11 on third downs. You could not move the chains for nothing. And I don't want to hear about the rain because guess what? The Colts were also playing in the rain. It's not like only when the Niners had the ball it was raining. Like no, it was raining the entire game. The Colts also had to deal with the rain, and they were able to move the ball better than the Niners did. And
Yeah.
and then like not even just like in the game, before the game. Why is Diamador Lenore inactive? Give me a good reason for why Lenore is inactive because Dre Kirkpatrick is not it.
He's not.
Josh Norman is not it. The secondary needs help. Lenore had one kind of bad game against the Packers. He allowed, the big catch to Adams, and then he allowed a touchdown late in the game. But he's a rookie. That thing happens. It happens. You got to be okay with it. It's part of the learning curve. He's been playing better than those two have this season. And I know Norman made some plays. He had a couple of forced fumbles and an almost interception. But he got beat down the field. He missed an assignment that caused an easy touchdown.
Pass interference calls.
Pass interference. Drake Kirkpatrick, what the hell on that last touchdown? He just tried to bump him. He didn't turn around and play the ball at all. Like, and these are the guys you're putting out there over Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore. And they're getting no experience. They're not playing at all. They're not getting better because you want to play the vets, and the vets aren't playing well. So even that plan is not even just with Lance, it's with all the rookies. Hasty hasn't been great this year. He wasn't great last year either. Yet, you traded up for Trey Sermon, and he gets no carries. Like, I joked about it before early in the week when they said Hasty was up and he would play. I said Sermon's not getting any carries. He didn't get any carries. None. Mitchell was good today. Hasty did nothing. Passing game was not good today, and it's raining. Like, wouldn't you want to run the ball more? And you've got three backs, and you have a guy that you traded up for in the third round. You did that, Kyle. You did that. Why is he not playing? Third round pick. First of all, that's high for running back anyway. And you traded up to get him. Like you guys really wanted Trey Sermon, and he doesn't play at all. There's no plan. Or at least whatever plan they have is trash. And this team looks like hot garbage. And that's just how it is right now.
Yeah, well, beginning with Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, the 2 interceptions, fine, one of them you could say slipped. But in the other interception, I'm just like, the defense made the stop. You had the best opportunity to win the game. The game was on your shoulders. And you choked. And I don't care about the 2019 season. That was one season where the team wasn't injured and we were winning games. That was one season. Forget about that 2019 season.
That's the outlier. Jimmy is 5-6 in his last 11 games. I don't want to hear the QB wins thing anymore. He's 5-6 in his last 11 games. It is not what have you done, it's what have you done for me lately.
Yeah.
He has been losing for you lately. You're under 500 with him lately. I don't want to hear about the wins and losses because he's not winning games for you right now.
He's not. And even with, I get it, it was raining today. But even without the rain, Jimmy Garoppolo makes the same mistakes. Jimmy Garoppolo misses throws. Jimmy Garoppolo throws interceptions. He makes the same mistakes without the rain. So don't give me the rain excuse. I don't want to hear the rain excuse. I don't want to hear, Jimmy Garoppolo, because of the rain, he made this mistake or he made that mistake. No, I don't want to hear it because Jimmy Garoppolo makes the same exact mistakes when it's not raining. And we've seen it before. And we're not winning with Jimmy Garoppolo. We're not. The record for the team right now is 2-4. We're the worst in the division. Jimmy Garoppolo played. We almost lost to the Detroit Lions. We beat the Eagles. Great. We lost to the Packers. We lost against the Seahawks. Jimmy Garoppolo only scored 7, and that team offense only scored 7 in the first half. We can't win with Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo did not play a good game today. And I do not understand if Kyle Shanahan does not start Trey Lance next week, I don't know what Kyle Shanahan is thinking. Kyle Shanahan should 100% start Trey Lance next week. There should be no questions. He should 100% start Trey Lance next week. Because Jimmy Garoppolo is not the answer. He hasn't been able to win you games lately. And even if Trey Lance isn't able to win you games, at least he's developing. At least there's benefits to starting Trey Lance. Starting Jimmy Garoppolo, there's no benefits to starting Jimmy Garoppolo because we've already seen the season. We can't win football games with Jimmy Garoppolo this season. We can't. It's not the 2019 team. It's not. We haven't been able to win games lately with Jimmy Garoppolo. And that challenge. Why would you challenge it, Kyle? There was nothing to challenge on that play. Zero. Nothing. There was absolutely nothing to challenge on that play. There was a fumble. The Colts recovered the fumble. They already got their first down. Why would you throw the challenge flag? What was there to challenge? Zero. Nothing. You unnecessarily wasted timeout. And let's say the game went down to the wire and the Colts didn't score that touchdown and the game went down to that wire. We just because you used that challenge flag, we could have lost the game. But obviously the Colts did score. I understand that. But let's say the game did go down to the wire. Because you call that challenge flag, that could have costed the game if the game went down to the wire. But I'm just saying that challenge flag also I don't understand. And that defense. All the Colts had to do this game on third down was throw it up 30, 40 plus yards, and it would be a pass interference. All you have to do, Carson Wentz, to stand back in the pocket, throw it downfield, and every single time pass interference, pass interference. All on third downs, pass interference. Oh, this way, pass interference. That's all he had to do. That's every time.
I want to get to Moranta's comment about they still lose with Lance. They're losing with Jimmy. They're losing with Jimmy Garoppolo. What at this point? Like Pine North said, if they're playing Lance, he's getting better week by week.
Yeah,
Jimmy is not getting better. He's not. He's gotten worse.
Mm-hmm.
This team is 2-4. They are not good right now. They are not a good team. And yes, Lance is injured. We're saying going forward. There's no reason to start Jimmy Garoppolo going forward. I know he couldn't play in this game if he wanted to. His knee is banged up. But if he's healthy, he needs to be playing. He needs to be starting. Because at this point, you're 2-4. You're trying it with Jimmy. It's not working. So it needs to be trade going forward to get something out of this season. Because they keep trying to run it back. They bring back all these vets the last 2 years. They bring back Jimmy Garoppolo. They do all this. They're like, no, it's still a Super Bowl team. No, it's not a Super Bowl team. This team is playoffs at best, and they might not even get there with Jimmy playing. So why not just go ahead and play Trey Lance to try to get something out of this season? Because if you don't, then you've got nothing. You've got no first-round picks in the next 2 years. Just to start. So losing this year, you don't have a pick to even use for all that losing, number one. Number two, you're not playing any of your young guys right now. So you're wasting a year of development while also not winning games and not reaching the goal that you set for yourself by bringing all these veterans back and playing Jimmy Garoppolo right now, which is going to a Super Bowl because you believe in that front office that you had the core in place to do that. And you didn't. And it's showing. So the change needs to be made. And I don't want to hear every team has injuries, man. I don't want to hear about the no Kittle thing. Every team has injuries. You find a way to get over it.
Well, I mean, Kittle played in the Seattle game. He played in the Seattle game. How many points did Jimmy score with Kittle in the Seattle game?
He played in the Green Bay game. He lost that game too.
Like, I don't care if Lance wins games. If Lance loses the whole rest of the season, if he's starting, at least we get some sort of benefit with Lance starting.
And not to mention, we saw these things the first 2 games. This is why we felt the way we did after their close wins against the Lions and the Eagles. Those were not 2 good teams. Those were 2 bad teams, and they barely beat them. And we saw things early that were issues. Corner depth, we saw it early. It's an issue. Execution on offense, we saw it early. It's an issue. Jimmy Garoppolo, we saw it early. He's still an issue. Run game was an issue. It was there. The signs were there, but no, we're just being pessimistic. We don't know what we're looking at. The signs were there. And this team is exactly what we saw those first 2 weeks, except now they're playing better teams and they're losing because of it. And that's where we're at. So
I mean, did you see how badly the Raiders beat the Eagles today? Raiders 33-22. The Raiders, without their head coach and John Gruden, obviously what happened with that whole situation, their interim head coach, they have an interim head coach, and they blow the brakes off the Eagles. We barely beat the Eagles. Barely. With Jimmy Garoppolo under center. At least with Lance starting, he develops. I don't need Lance to take us to the Super Bowl or take us to the playoffs. If he does, great. But I'm just happy if Lance develops and he plays and he gets better and gets more experience by playing than Jimmy, because you get zero benefits by Jimmy playing. And Kyle, you got to pick it up, Kyle. Because, I mean, it's your 5th season. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia, and 2 seasons later he got fired. He won them a Super Bowl. You took them to the Super Bowl, but you didn't even win a Super Bowl. If you won them a Super Bowl, maybe it's a different story, but you didn't even win the Super Bowl. The Niners did not win the Super Bowl in 2019. And it's your 5th season and you're 2-4. McVay hasn't had a losing season. Sean McVay hasn't had a losing season with the Rams. It's your 5th year, Kyle, and you're 2-4. That's your record in your 5th year. There's so many head coaches in the league that get fired after one season with worse situations, and it's your 5th year and your record is 2-4.
And the thing I don't want to hear is like, oh, well, they're hurt or they're injured and, they're just unlucky. No, this is the hand that Kyle picked. This is not the hand that Kyle was dealt. That was 2017. This is his team with the guys that he wanted on this team. You got to hold them accountable at this point. This is not 2017. This team should not feel like they're rebuilding. It's year 5, and they're poorly coached. Penalties everywhere. Offense can't move the ball consistently. Kyle, you're supposed to be the offensive genius.
Yeah.
Offensive genius, Kyle. Like, we praise you. We were calling you a top 10 head coach after a Super Bowl year. Is he even top 20 right now? With the way he's been coaching, his decision making, the game plans. And if Garoppolo is the problem, you're the one starting him. I'm not mad at Jimmy for playing how he plays. That's how he's been. That's what we expect from him. We expect Kyle to want more and expect more and to play Trey when Jimmy's not getting the job done for you. Because we've already seen this movie. We've seen it numerous times. And yet, Jimmy is still starting every Sunday. And this week is a pass because Trey was hurt.
Yeah.
But going into the year, this is what we said should happen. Jimmy's going to make mistakes in the game. Jimmy's going to make inexcusable mistakes for an 8-year veteran. Why not just play the rookie so he gets better while making the mistakes that Jimmy's going to make anyway? Not to mention that they moved the ball better with Trey last Sunday, not last Sunday, the Cardinal game, than they did today. And like we said, we can't even blame the weather because the Colts also have to deal with that weather.
Yeah,
and they moved the ball a lot better than we did.
They scored 30. They scored 30 in that rain.
So, no, they both played on the same playing field. And the Colts outplayed the Niners. They outcoached them, outplayed them. And I know they only had 280-something yards, but if you add the PIs on that, they almost had 400. If you add the penalties into the Colts' offensive yards, they almost had 400 yards of offense in this game. They were moving the ball just fine in the monsoon. So that's not an excuse either. The excuses have to stop at this point. This team isn't playing well. This team isn't very good at the moment. They're not well coached. They're not executing. And their quarterback has been playing well. They drafted Trey Lance for this reason. It's not because Jimmy just gets injured. It's because he's not that good. He's average. That's why Trey's here. That's why Trey should be playing and learning. You're losing anyway. Let's just forget what happened before now. Let's talk about now. This team is 2-4. You're losing with Jimmy anyway. You gain nothing by playing Jimmy the rest of the way and not playing Trey. I understand your plan coming in may have been to hope that Trey could sit the entire year, but that ain't working. You gain nothing from this season if you play Jimmy and you're still losing. People like Jimmy G because, number one, his personality in his face, that plays a factor. He's a likable guy from just look standpoint. And then they lean on the wins. And that 1 year, 2019, which was at this point the outlier year, because that was the only year that the Niners have had a winning record. And one thing I'll still never understand is why I didn't stick to the original plan in 20. Like, okay, you didn't draft Mahomes. We didn't scout Mahomes and Watson because you wanted Kirk Cousins. Why didn't you go get Kirk Cousins, and why did you settle for Jimmy Garoppolo? That's number one, but we'll never get the answer until maybe like years down the road. But anyway, like as I was saying, you're 2-4 now. You're not winning with Jimmy. I mean, the Bears don't look good offensively, but I don't know if they beat the Bears next week. I don't know if they do. If Jimmy plays, I don't know.
If Jimmy plays, I don't know. Even if Lance doesn't beat the Bears next week, if Lance plays, at least he's developing, right? At least he's developing. With Jimmy, you don't get any benefits. And M says, could have used Sermon. Kyle, you wanted Sermon. He was your third round draft pick.
Same
You
with
traded
Ayuk.
2 picks to the Rams for Sermon, and you're not even using him. How many carries did he get today? 0. Aaron Banks was active. How many snaps did he get? 0. Ambry Thomas and De'Amon Lenore, they were inactive. Like, I don't understand why you draft Trey Sermon and then you don't use him. I don't get it. You traded up to get him and you don't use him. He gets 0 snaps. 0. Then why would you draft him if you just wanted to sit on the sideline?
And to Parnor's comment about saying he's feels alone about giving up on Kyle. My thing is, I'm not even gonna like get too much into that because he's gonna be here. Because number one, he just got that extension, like just got it, and the Yorks like him. They wanted him, they like him, and he just reset his clock by drafting Trey Lance. Like, he's got another year at the least, and maybe another 2 at the least. So he's going to be here. Now, if this does lead to him being gone in another year or so, I think he gets another job as a head coach, and he probably rights his wrongs. He probably learns the same way that Bill did when he got fired, and the same way Andy Reid did in a way when he went from Philadelphia to Kansas City. Maybe he just need, where you get fired and you get a chance to reflect and figure out where things went wrong, and then he learns. But they wanted Kyle so much that they gave him power immediately. They said, Kyle, you're the head coach. Go pick your GM. And he just picked really just a spokesperson in John Lynch just to like be the communicator. And they gave him a lot of, yeah, so Kyle's going to be here. The question is, how do they fix this with Kyle here? That's the thing. Is firing John the move? Is John even the issue here? I don't know. Who does the drafting really? Who
We
these
don't
are Kyle's
know.
players, right?
I don't even know who does the drafting, because some picks is Peters, sometimes it's Lynch, sometimes it's Kyle. It's honestly, I don't know who's that one guy that's behind the draft pick, because it's not just one guy. It's a mix of all three guys that make the draft picks.
Because this offense that we thought was loaded, it's not so loaded. Like, we have no idea what's going on with Ayuk. Kittle is always hurt for we don't know what reason. Jalen Hurts is still on this roster for some reason. He hasn't played yet. It's 3 years later. I don't know.
Hurt should have been cut. I'm sorry, Hurt is on IR. Like, Hurt should have been cut. I don't get why you wasted a roster spot on him. He didn't even impress in that Raiders preseason game. He like dropped a couple of passes.
They literally said that if he finished the game, he'd be on the roster. They handed him that spot. I said it wasn't fair for Hurd to make this roster. I said it wasn't. What has he done to make this roster? And people was like, oh, well, how do you know? How do you say he doesn't deserve it or this? Like, what has he done? What has he done to make the roster? The one preseason game back in his first year in Dallas against Dallas. That's it. That's like, oh, that's all you got to do. Just two touchdowns. 2 touchdowns in a game 3 years ago. That's all you got to do to make this roster. Okay, cool. You gave up on Dante Pettis. It didn't work. You accepted it wasn't going to work. You got rid of him. Why is Hurt still here? It's not going to work. He wasn't even good when he was playing this year. It's not working. I know it's tough for the kid. I get it. I understand. But it's not working.
And
So you got to
Ayuk,
move on.
I have a question for you with Ayuk though. Do you think Ayuk looked good last year because Debo and George Kittle were injured? Do you think that's why he looks so good, or do you think he's actually
No, he
a
had good
good?
games when they were both playing. The Patriots game, the Eagles game, those were good games. They were both healthy. Kyle is, I don't know what it is that I don't know what happened between him and Ayuk. I don't know what happened. But
It's obviously not something where it's play. It's probably something that they had an argument, or they
and then he
had
had the
some.
fumble today too, where it feels like Kyle either wasn't happy with something or wanted more from him, and Ayuk, whatever way that Kyle came at him, Ayuk hasn't responded the way that he liked him to, and it's kind of, you kind of see the body language on the field is like he doesn't look super into it anymore. For the most part, he seems kind of sluggish, kind of lazy, but I don't know. I don't know. They're not happy with him, and he's not happy with probably the way they're trying to get him to make these improvements. The
And then,
developing thing is really
even
becoming a question. It's really becoming a
even
question with this development thing. It
even
really is.
tonight, the reporters, Chris Collinsworth, he was saying like, "Oh, Ayuk had the best week in practice. Kyle Shanahan's happy with him. He felt like Ayuk had a great week in practice, probably the best week that he had in practice." Then why didn't he get any looks?
And then like you're saying, like Ayuk needs a little love, and he's in the low. Like they're making it sound. I don't know. Like, and I'm sure there was a video that I saw going around where Ayuk has the. I mean, we're at the point where like maybe Kyle's got Ayuk thinking too much when he runs his routes or something, or maybe Kyle is trying to get him to do something specific with a route, and it's like it's not kind of something that Ayuk is used to doing or good with, and it's making him a step slower or something. I don't know, but whatever the reason is, that has something to do with a development issue. Like Kyle can't get the best out of these guys. He can't raise their level of play. We haven't seen it yet. A lot of these guys is just like work to do on their own. Like Kittle is all just effort and just him, just being who he is. Debo, same way. Another guy plays a lot of effort, plays, hard, but these guys who need fine tuning, Kyle hasn't made it work. Pettis didn't work. Ayuk right now isn't working. Some of the other guys he drafted, like Joe Williams and people like that, hasn't worked. Just I don't know. And Beathard, I mean, it's tough. They're obviously not talented quarterbacks, but still, those guys never really got better, per se. Like just, I don't know. This roster right now in year 5 is lacking a lot of things, and that has to be development, and that has to be the way that acquire players, and it's just it hasn't been working. So,
and one position we're still weak at is corner. Like it's been 5 years,
they don't
Kyle.
value it.
You don't
They value
value the
front seven.
position of corner, especially when you play in a division with DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green. Arizona has a young guy named Rondell Moore who's been pretty good for them in a couple of games. He made an amazing catch on us last week. You play in a division with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. You play in a division with like top 10 receivers, and you don't value the position of cornerback. Really? In your 5th year, you don't value the position of cornerback. And now,
And the ones he drafted,
we
he's
see
not
it right
playing.
now. Now we see it right now how every legit Carson Wentz had to throw it up 40, 50 yards and do pass interference. Pass interference on third down. Pass interference on third down. Pass interference over and over again. And majority of the time when they scored, it was on pass interferences. It was on pass interference calls on third down, and then they would get called for pass interference. Like
All right,
your
so
corners aren't.
here are the corners that Kyle has drafted since he's been here. DJ Reed, he's gone.
He's gone.
And he's
He's
okay.
really
He's
good.
an okay starter for Seattle.
He's been good for Seattle. He's been pretty solid for Seattle. We got rid of him.
Obviously Witherspoon. He was in the doghouse when he was here. He's gone. I mean, I know he's not playing for anybody right now. He's on the Steelers and he doesn't get in the game, but still, that's another guy they drafted that didn't work. Tim Harris, he's gone. They drafted him in the 6th round in 2019. That didn't work. And then this year, Lenore looks like he's solid, and Thomas stinks out the gate. but neither are playing right now. Like, why was Lenore a healthy scratch tonight? And
Yeah.
then you go on to see Josh Norman get PIs and Dre Kirkpatrick not able to locate the ball at the end of the game and give up a bad touchdown. Like, it's not even like these veterans who you signed after the season started. Like, not even guys you brought in to training camp. These guys came in after the season already started because of injuries. And you're playing them over the guys that you drafted to play if guys got hurt or be able to contribute this year in some way. I don't know. And yeah, Harbaugh, he was a good leader.
Harbaugh was. I went back and watched Harbaugh's last year. The team went 8-8. Like the team, I get it. It wasn't
even with all that chaos that year. They went 8-8.
Right, but Harbaugh, like you said, Piner, Harbaugh knew how to motivate his team. He just did.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, okay, if it's not, Shanahan's fault, then whose fault is it? It's all the guys that he brought in. It's his coaching staff. It's his GM because he's the one who hired. He's the one who wanted Jed to hire John Lynch. It's his GM.
Yeah. I mean, Lynch, we should put the blame on Shanahan, right? Because Shanahan's the one who wanted guys like Sermon. Shanahan's the one who wanted guys like C.J. Beathard. Now, Lynch, some of his draft picks, fine. You could put the blame on him a little bit.
We have no idea.
We have no idea. We have no idea who's behind all the picks. Like, we don't. Legit, the whole draft class could be made by 3 different people. We don't know who's on this guy, who's drafted this guy, who drafted this guy in the 6th round. We don't know. Lynch, some of the picks that we do know, fine, you could put the blame on Lynch, but we don't know about all the others. Tommy Tucker asks Harbaugh or Kyle?
Right now, Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. Simple. Harbaugh. No question.
They went to the
NFC
Championship game or more 3 straight times.
Yep.
Kyle's gotten there once.
Mm-hmm.
In 4 seasons, and probably about to be 5. So, Jim got there 3 out of 4 years, and then he was gone. So, because of I remember what happened. The drama between him and Balky, and Jed chose Balky, and Balky's gone. So, that's the thing, though. Even if you did fire Kyle, like, okay, we've seen Kyle can at times be good enough to get you to a Super Bowl. But if they did fire Kyle, do we even trust that they would get the right guy to replace him?
No, I don't have. I have zero faith in. I have zero faith in Jed York bringing in a good head coach. And people say, why doesn't Denise remove his son from those jobs? Remove his son from the head coaching search and bring in someone else to hire the head coach? Or like, why would she do that to her own son? Like, why would she go up to her son and be like, son, you're not capable enough to bring in the right head coach. Leave it to me or leave it to someone else. Like, she wouldn't do that.
Okay, there's some comments from Zark and Steve. Okay, about the best player. I'm sure he's being sarcastic about the best player thing, but here's the thing. With the obviously, us as fans, things, players that we may want or we think the team needs. Sure, if it's wrong, it's wrong. But at the same time, these, the coaches and the front office, they're supposed to know better than us, right? Like, we sit here and talk about, oh, Tom Brady is so hindsight and all that. Like, they're posting them. Okay, us as fans, the way the season went, sure. It's okay to want Jimmy back, sure. But the coaching staff, they evaluated Tom Brady and said he's only marginally better than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's ridiculous.
And rumors are that the Niners were already questioning Jimmy Garoppolo going into that 2019 season. And then not only that, but Kyle basically shuts down Jimmy in the playoffs. The Vikings game, he throws that pick to Eric Kendricks, and they start running the ball the rest of the game. The Packers game, he threw the ball 8 times. And then the Super Bowl, and you see what happens. And then you see how 2020 goes. And you see the offense now. Like, it's been a trend. They were losing faith in him for a while now. And yet still, they were like, we'll keep Jimmy. Well, okay, us as fans, sure, we can miss that. We can be emotional and say, hey, yeah, no, Jimmy should still be here. But them, as talent evaluators, as leaders of the organization, they should have seen that Tom Brady still had something left.
Who says no to Brady? I'm sorry, like who says no to Brady? That's ridiculous. Brady wanted to be a 49er. Like Brady wanted to be a 49er since his career began, before his career began. He wanted to be a 49er. He grew up a 49er fan. He idolized Joe Montana.
And here another thing for Zark about his being friendly with players and coaching harder and makes them. It's all about the approach. Obviously, I'm not a coach. I don't know what works and what doesn't. But whatever is going on right now isn't working. It's one thing I do know because we see on the field it's not working. So whatever approach that Kyle is taking, whatever this doghouse method is, it might need to change because it's not making these players better. Yeah. He put Dante Pettis in the doghouse. He put Witherspoon in the doghouse. And for all we know, Ayuk might be in there right now. And none of those players are getting better. They're getting worse or they're gone. So.
And, like, one thing that also gets me upset, I don't know if it gets you a little bit upset too, but, like, Ayuk isn't making the strides. You come out, John Lynch, and Kyle come out in the media and say that. What about McGlinchey? McGlinchey didn't have a great game either today, and especially in pass blocking. McGlinchey got thrown on his butt. They would say the whole game, Kwity Paye, he had a knee injury or whatnot, or he had some sort of injury, and then he's getting thrown on it. He's throwing Mike McGlinchey on his butt. Like, McGlinchey isn't making the strides. He's a first rounder also. Why aren't you coming out and saying, McGlinchey, he has to play better? You don't say that to the media. You don't say McGlinchey isn't making the strides we expect him to. But you say that about Ayuk.
Yeah, they were. Not to mention that John came out with Matt Maiocco and did a whole, like, hey, everything is fine interview. Like, no, I know. We just got to execute better and just do this and that, and we'll be okay. And it's like, oh, no, there's no crisis. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no crisis like that. I don't know what the mood is in there, but it's getting worse by the week because they're not winning games and they're getting asked a lot of questions, and no one says. I don't think anyone said that the players despise him, but at the same time, something is amiss going on in there because execution isn't there, development from some players isn't there. It's just they're 2-4. There's questions being asked. Like, we're not in a position where we can just be okay with everything. They're 2-4.
Well, Gavin asked the question: does Kyle Shanahan have any trade value? I mean, I don't think so. I don't know. As of right now,
I don't know who's trading for coaches, man. Like, if a coach is available for trade, why would you want him?
I mean, right now with his record, I don't know who would trade for. I don't know who would trade for any. Like, there hasn't been that many coaches for trade in a while. So
isn't Gruden the only one?
I think Gruden's the only one. Yeah, he got traded for like 2 firsts, I think. From
but I don't think Kyle's going. I don't know. I mean, I know Kyle is, a guy that has a lot of respect around the league, but at the same time, I don't know. I wouldn't trade for Kyle Shanahan. I wouldn't. I don't think he would give up first round picks to get Kyle. I'd just wait for the Niners to fire him.
Yeah, I think, and like you said, the Niners, the Yorks, they like Kyle. So unless they
here's the thing, though. Like, if you're here, it's not like a player. If Kyle is up for trade, that means they're going to fire him at some point. So why wouldn't I just wait for him to get fired before I hire him? I don't know why he would get traded.
And then Steven asked, should we sign OBJ and sign a corner? We should definitely sign a corner, but I don't know about OBJ. I think he's getting a little bit too old, and he's been having some of those injuries. He came off the ACL injury. And even like last Cleveland game on Thursday night, he hopped out. He got hurt again. I don't know how serious the injury was. I think he came back, but like he's not the OBJ that we saw make those one-handed catches and have those 1,000-yard seasons. He's not the same OBJ anymore. But we should definitely.
It's also where this team is right now. Trading for Beckham makes no sense because you give them more picks to what? For what? I don't know. A corner? I mean, who can they go get? Still, you're trading picks for what right now? Because your team isn't great. I don't think OBJ makes you a Super Bowl contender, so you don't do that.
Yeah.
I don't even think getting a corner right now makes you a Super Bowl contender. So I don't think you make trades. I think the Niners probably should be selling at the deadline and trying to get picks back. So, and I don't know what Jimmy's trade value is right now.
Jimmy does not have trade value. Jimmy just not does not. Jimmy
I
does. He
mean, he
hasn't
hasn't done
been
anything to
winning
raise it.
recently. He hasn't been winning recently. And Jimmy, with his injury concerns, who's willing to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo? Any smart GM in the league is not willing to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. He has no trade value with his injury history and how badly he's playing right now, and the team isn't when Niners aren't winning. Who's willing to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo?
Teams know who Jimmy is. Like, they watch more film than anybody. They know exactly who Jimmy is. And Jimmy is not worth much more than maybe a fifth rounder. And
And also Jimmy wins games when the run game is going and when the defense is playing well. And we saw that in 2019, right? When the run game is going, the run game is explosive, and the defense is playing well. It's just kind of like Mac Jones, right? Like Mac Jones, he'll win you games when there's a good run game and when the defense is playing well. But can Mac Jones really do it by himself when the run game isn't there and when the defense isn't playing well? No. Just like Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo will win you games if the run game is there and the run game is on point and the defense is playing well. But Jimmy Garoppolo can't single-handedly win you games like Russell Wilson. He can't. He's not going to be able to do that.
number one, first of all, the thing is a trade. You're taking on his money. Obviously, unless you restructure. But Jimmy is an average quarterback. You need a lot more around him for it to work.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a team that is literally just a quarterback away. I don't think any team that needs a quarterback is just a quarterback away.
Mm-hmm.
So that trade wouldn't be happening this year. And I don't think the 49ers are going to trade him this year either. I think they were planning on holding on to him the entire season. Now, should they trade him? Probably. But will they? No, I don't think they will.
Oh. I think they should. I think they should have cut him before the season.
Hell, they're on the broadcast. They're talking about how Jimmy could play his way to be here another year or two, and they didn't just get it from nowhere. They got that from somebody in the organization. They got it from somebody. Somebody told them that. It's probably Jed, but for some reason, Jimmy has like a chokehold on this organization. Like, he's just going to be here until he just can't be here no more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know why it is now. Like Jimmy Garoppolo, they wanted to get Aaron Rodgers undrafted. They were they're trying to call Green Bay. Can we get Aaron Rodgers with the third round? They don't want Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why they caught him, because he's injury prone, and they realize they have to get a quarterback for the future, and Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the answer. I don't get why they keep starting him. I just don't. I don't get why they didn't cut him before the season. It just makes no sense to me, especially since you wanted Jimmy Garoppolo gone.
I don't know. And then, yeah, I mean, Parnor says it too. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he starts next week.
Yep.
Because my thing is, Kyle might find a way to say this because of the rain. We just think, well, it was raining, and I called the game weird, and Jimmy's fine. It wasn't his fault. It's my fault, or something like that. And he's starting next week. Or maybe he sees it as like, oh, this is a struggling Bears team. We can really win this game with Jimmy, and I don't want to take a chance with Trey. And so he starts Jimmy over Trey. I can see reasons that Kyle would start Jimmy.
Yeah.
So even though Jimmy looked terrible in this game, I wouldn't be surprised if he starts next week, because he's finding ways to do it all year long. So
yep. We already been 40 minutes into the show, but my final thing is Jimmy Garoppolo should not start under any circumstance next week. Under any circumstance next week, he's gonna get killed behind the Bears. The Bears has an amazing defensive line. He's not gonna do nothing against the Bears. We've seen he's not gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts next week and he loses, because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the answer. We should start Lance. We said it already in the beginning of the show that at least when Lance plays, he develops. So starting Jimmy Garoppolo makes no sense to me. Jimmy Garoppolo should not play another game for the 49ers. Simple as that. Jimmy Garoppolo should not play another game in the Niner uniform. Unless Lance gets hurt, Jimmy Garoppolo should not play another game for the 49ers. Whatsoever. It is time to move on to Trey Lance, because Jimmy Garoppolo isn't getting it done anymore. Jimmy Garoppolo isn't.
Man, look, if we know who Jimmy Garoppolo is, teams know who Jimmy Garoppolo is. And you're seeing that on full display this season and last season. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I
It's
have
tough.
no idea what the direction is.
Yeah.
I'm like hoping and praying that Kyle somehow makes this change. Like, you know what? We've decided that we're going forward with Trey. I'd be like, oh my God, you finally did it. And it's crazy to
Ah,
me that Nagy did it first. I thought Nagy would be the one to be dumb and play Dalton the whole entire season, and that Kyle would, switch to Trey at some point. But no,
Nagy finally moved on. Nagy finally said, you know what? I'm starting Justin Fields. And, I mean, at least Fields is developing to a certain extent.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, we definitely praised Kyle way too early with
Yeah.
the one, and I think that it really goes back to 2019. That whole season has really affected the mindsets of everyone. Everyone. Every
Yeah.
time things are going well, every time we question something, it's like, well, in 2019, this,
In
well, in 2019 that.
2019, there was a
This,
good run game. There was a good defense. If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't have those two things, we don't win. I don't care about
this
the
is
2019 season. That was
this
two
is the
years
thing.
ago.
It is year 5, people. It is year 5. We should have had 2019 3 times by now.
Yeah.
We've only seen it once. It's year 5. Coaches get fired for less in this league. Kyle's, lucky to still be here in a way, because 4 losing seasons out of 3, coaches get fired for that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
Kyle's been lucked up because injuries and this and that. And 2020 was a weird year, and he's been lucky. And then obviously made the trade for Trey, and he's lucky that kind of extends his time. But coaches like you said, Doug Pearson won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl, and he's gone off his team.
Mm-hmm.
So just going to the Super Bowl doesn't just mean that you get a free pass from everything else.
And I mean, like, just an example, right? The Bills, they were good in 2019. They obviously lost. In the playoffs, but they were good in 2019. They were good last year. They made it to the NFC Championship game. Huge improvement. And this year
The
also, they're a
Cardinals,
good team, right?
the Cardinals have gotten better.
Like the Niners from 2019. I expected in 2020 to also be a playoff team, and I also expected this year to be a playoff team. But last year, injury excuse. The one thing that honestly annoys me, like just an example, 2019, Ben Roethlisberger was out the whole year with an elbow injury for the Steelers. The Steelers did not have a losing. The Steelers were 8-8. I get it, they didn't make the playoffs, but they didn't have a losing record. They didn't have a losing record. Mike Tomlin wouldn't allow them to have a losing record. They were 8-8 with Mason Rudolph in their center, and they beat teams like the Bills on Sunday Night Football. Like Mike Tomlin didn't allow them to have a losing record, and they had Mason Rudolph. Their quarterback was injured. Quarterback is one of the most important positions on any football team, and their starting quarterback was injured, and they still didn't have a losing record.
I don't know. It's 2019, man. That's the year. That's the year that everyone. It's the year that Shanahan and Lynch been trying to recreate by bringing all these players back from that core and just expecting that to get better. And here's the thing, people. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. You can't just expect things to be 2019 all over again. That team was just that team. You got to evolve. You got to evolve. You got to get better. And they haven't. They've been keeping the same team and just trying to plug holes here and there with guys, and they can't hit on first round picks. They can't.
Like
McGlinchey is okay. McGlinchey's okay. Bosa fell in their lap. Bosa shouldn't even been there.
Gone. I mean, McGlinchey, he's all right, but he sucks at pass blocking. I don't know. He's in Kyle Shanahan. He's made the strides for some reason. They're not calling him out on not making the strides.
Here's the thing.
Not making the strides, and then
even
Bosa legit, like you said, second pick in the draft. Of course, you're gonna draft Bosa. Who else are you gonna draft besides Bosa? Obviously, that was the obvious pick there. So Bosa was an easy pick for the Niners. And then that's hopefully he works out. But the Niners can hit on first round picks. Majority of the second round picks they don't hit on. Like the one second round pick that they probably hit on was Deebo Samuel. But even in the first 2 years, it didn't look bright because of his injuries. And especially when you could have gotten DK and AJ Brown. But this year, Deebo Samuel's looking good. Dante Pettis, horrible second round pick. They can't hit. Like the only thing I like about John Lynch and Adam Peters and whoever was making those picks, obviously like guys like Kittle or guys like Lenore who have been doing good the first couple of games of the season, who I don't know why he's inactive, like you said. There are some of those Fred Warners, George Kittles out there that we snagged, but I don't get why it's hard for you to draft good players in the early rounds. Like it should be easier. It's easier to find a star player or a good all-pro player in the first, second, and third round than it is to find a gem like George Kittle in the fifth round.
When you trade DeForest Buckner for the 13th pick, you should get a difference maker at that pick. Kinlaw's been okay, but not only that, he has injury issues.
Yeah,
he's got a bad knee, and they knew that going into the draft. Teams knew that, and that's the pick they made. They said if Kinlaw was gone, they would take
Tristan Wirfs.
They said that if Kinlaw was gone, they would have drafted Ayuk at 13. CeeDee Lamb is better.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson is better.
Yeah.
Right now, Henry Ruggs is better. All guys who are high on the board.
Jerry Jeudy, I'm not going to make the case for Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Judy's route running is.
We'll see when he gets back.
Yeah.
We'll see when he gets back. But he had a good first game before he got hurt. So the guys that you decide not to take and to take your guy, now your guy can't seem to get it together for you, and you're not getting him the ball, and he's not making plays on the field for you. But everyone you passed on looks great.
Yeah.
Ruggs looks great. Tristan Wirfs looks great. Ruggs looks great.
CeeDee Lamb.
Jefferson looks great.
Jefferson looks great.
Your guys are worse than their guys. So that's where evaluation. You're like, those were like gimmies. It felt like, like those were like guys like, oh yeah, these guys are going to be good. They're going to be good players. And no, they draft. I didn't know who Ayuk was.
Yeah.
When they drafted him, I was like, who is Ayuk? Where did he go?
I had no clue who Ayuk was before. I was like, yo, let's draft CD or let's draft someone like that. And then when they drafted Ayuk, I'm like, who is this? Like, guy from Arizona State, never heard of you before. Who is this dude? Like,
and we were always like, they're going to draft Von Kinlaw here. They're going to draft another defensive lineman when you could have had CeeDee Lamb or, like.
You could have had CeeDee Lamb. You could have had Tristan Wirfs. You could have had some
Trayvon Diggs looks
studs.
I mean, I know he's not.
You could have had some studs.
First round picks, man. You could have got some stars.
And like that's the thing, right? Like one thing that I will say is some of the Cowboys draft picks are bad, but one thing that the Cowboys do is draft the best player available.
Their offense is insane.
Yeah, like CeeDee Lamb.
Good pick.
They didn't need a wide receiver. They didn't need a wide receiver in that draft. They drafted the best player available in CeeDee Lamb. They knew he was the best player on the board at the time, and they drafted CeeDee Lamb. They already had Amari Cooper. They already had Michael Gallup. Receiver wasn't a need for them at the time, but they drafted the best player available. And look at him right now. He's balling.
Here's the thing, Em. I see him saying there. That's not what we were saying about Ayuk last year. Here's the thing, Em. Like I said earlier, we are not the GMs. We are not the scouts. We are not the front office. They're supposed to know better than us, right? Ayuk has regressed, or either it's not playing to the level that they want him to play at, and these other guys are playing very well. So, right now, our only playmaker on offense is Debo. Mm-hmm. We could have had guys out there who are making plays like Ruggs, CD, Justin Jefferson, these guys who are reliable receivers for their teams with Debo.
Yeah.
So it's not on us because, you guys liked Ayuk last year. Sure, your opinion can change because things change over time. Just because we like Jimmy G in 2017 and for most of 2019 doesn't mean, you guys are saying Jimmy was good 2 years ago. Yeah, it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now he needs to go. Yeah. And right now, at this moment, Ayuk looks like the worst of the first-round receivers. And that's on Kyle in the front office for either what, developing him wrong or not getting the right guy. It's okay to say that.
I don't
It's okay to say that.
necessarily think it was not getting the right guy. I think it's that they're not developing him. They're not developing him. They're not. It's something where they had beef. Kyle and Ayuk had beef because I think Ayuk was a good receiver. We saw it last year, like he said. Ayuk was balling out. Ayuk was a good receiver. I don't know what happened this year, but Ayuk was a good receiver. Is that Kyle and them not giving? I don't know what it is, but this year they're just not. It's not the same thing that happened last year. It's just not.
I'm just saying that it's okay for us to question these picks, after the fact, because that's what we're here to talk about. The ways this team, we're not trying to bash Jimmy over and over again, but it keeps coming up because that's a big reason why the team is where it's at right now, because of Jimmy, because quarterback comes first. What's the first thing that Cliff Kingsbury did when he got to Arizona? Let me get my quarterback. Kyler Murray.
Yeah,
he's special.
We had Josh Rosen, but we didn't like
Kyle in his very first year could have gotten either a Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes, or he could have waited and got the guy he wanted the whole time in Kirk Cousins. Who did he get? He brought in Brian Hoyer, traded up to draft C.J. Beathard, and traded for Jimmy Garoppolo, who they now want to replace.
I'm not even mad. Like, let's say we drafted Deshaun Watson, because nobody knew what Mahomes was going to be, right? Nobody knew, Mahomes is going to be this amazing player. And this year
but Watson was the safe pick in that draft.
Watson, we already knew what Watson was. Watson wasn't a question mark. We didn't know about all these allegations until now, but Watson, we knew what Watson was. He was there. All you had to do was call him up and say you're going to become a 49er. That's all you had to do. Your quarterbacks was Brian Hoyer and Matt Barkley at the time. That's all you had to do. Or even if you didn't draft Mahomes, if you drafted Watson, it would have been fine. But instead, you passed on him and you said, you know what? Let's draft Solomon Thomas. And going into the season, Brian Hoyer is our guy. He's our quarterback. And Brian Hoyer had numerous chances to be a starting quarterback in Houston in 2015 in the Houston Texans. Like, he's not a good starting quarterback. He's not.
Yeah. So, with the Ayuk thing, it looks worse when other receivers you could have had are better than him right now. Yeah. That's definitely the thing. So, oh yeah, not to mention Solomon Thomas and John Lynch going to, like Pioneer said, because, bro, if John Lynch and the Niners drafted Solomon Thomas because he went to school with him, that's terrible.
Yeah,
no, we don't do the buddy system. And
that's the thing. Like, you don't put your heart and emotion in the business decisions.
And that's the thing. Like, Kyle keeps going after his guys, and his guys, like, what's going on with Alex Mack right now?
Yeah, Ronnie Hudson.
He's supposed to fix the line.
Ronnie Hudson.
He hasn't looked great.
Ronnie Hudson. I mean, like, you could have had Ronnie Hudson, but instead Alex Mack, he was your guy. Fine, I understand. He was your guy. Well, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Start Trey Lance. That's my final thought.
Yep.
That is the last thing you can do in the season is start Trey Lance and see what happens. If we keep playing Jimmy, we're gonna see more of what we've already seen, and that's this team losing winnable games.
Yeah.
So,
well, that basically wraps up the show. I appreciate everybody in the chat. The chat was booming tonight. I appreciate you joining me again, Kobe. If you haven't already, go subscribe to Kobe's channel. The link is in the description. Go follow him on Twitter if you haven't already. Kobe's like 6 subscribers away from 100 subscribers. So if all you guys are watching the chat, go subscribe to Kobe's channel. The link is in the description. Go follow him on Twitter. Both of them are in the description. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Go hit this video with a like. And hopefully the Niners start Trey Lance next week. But me and Kobe will be back next week, I think.
We will.
But yeah, we'll be back next week. But, I appreciate everybody who's watching. Go Niners, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.